Hey, everybody.
Hi, guys. Well, from Salt Lake City, Utah,
It's Thank God I'm Atheist.
the podcast.
I'm Frank.
And I'm Dan.
And coming up on today's episode, we're going to be talking about...
Scooby-Doo.
No.
Oh, okay.
Mormons.
Oh, yeah.
And how they've acknowledged their history, and it's their history, but they're not really talking about it. They have it hidden nicely.
We're going to get into the mystery machine, and we're going to unmask the Mormons.
The Mormons are a giant mystery machine.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's coming up on the second half.
I'm sticking with the Scooby-Doo thing. That's what we're doing.
I don't know that I fully can go there with you, Dan, but that's okay.
Like, wow, Frank. Mormons. Hee.
Oh my goodness.
That was there you go.
Yeah, no, it was really good. It was really good.
Oh, so stupid.
I wish I had sound effects to play.
Right.
Because I know a couple. They're right in my head right now.
Yeah.
So there's that sort of beamy sound where like the magic beam rays from. Yeah.
Sort of thing.
That one. Yeah.
And then there's like a boing sort of thing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good.
What noise? Whenever he got a Scooby snack, wasn't there a noise? Wasn't there a?
I don't know.
Oh, maybe not.
But there was always that.
He was always very excited.
There was also the standard sort of Hanna-Barbera sound of running away, which was this. Which was like this. And then they would. And it was like. No running has ever in the history of the world sounded like this, but to people of our generation, we know what running sounds like.
And it sounds like ridiculous. There's definitely some coconuts being clapped together.
Who knows what that was? The
in an
weirdest
echo
thing in the
chamber.
world. Anyway, so now you have no idea what we're going to be talking about by the end of the show, but we will talk about it, and it'll be interesting.
And yes,
we
indeed.
insist upon it.
Indeed. All right.
I will start.
Oh, okay.
I have in front of me a story. Okay, so this started to unfold kind of last week. It's some interesting journalism by the Arkansas Times about Arkansas legislator, State Representative Justin Harris.
Okay.
Who is a dumpy little man who kind of looks like a lesbian, but that's not the point of the story.
Okay, well, glad you brought those details in.
I was just looking at his picture, and I was just like, you know what?
Are you saying that lesbians are dumpy looking?
Some lesbians are dumpy looking, but more what I'm saying is that dumpy looking, if like sort of feminine featured men, frequently look like lesbians. I don't. We piss off our lesbian listeners so often. You guys, we love you, right? If we have any
left, it's a
you know that we love you, right?
Point.
I'm far more fond of. I love my lesbians.
Well, I mean, your sister's lesbian.
Yeah. And
so is her partner.
Right. That's interesting, right? My sister's dating a lesbian. That's really weird. But yeah, I mean, I have a whole passel of lesbian friends.
What is a group of lesbians called?
A gaggle? No, that's
the gays.
That's the gays. It's a
murder. A murder of lesbians.
A dump. Oh, going back.
No, it's a murder of crows and a dump of. Is a dump a group?
No. I was just going back to them being dumpy, but they're not. Actually, some of my most beautiful friends are lesbians, so there you go. And I have some dumpy lesbian friends. So it doesn't really, I mean, they run the gamut, is the point. There are lesbians of all shapes and sizes.
Yeah, but they're rarely in the middle.
What do you mean?
They're either dumpy or drop dead gorgeous.
No, there are plenty of middle. Plenty of middle.
I like lesbians to be extreme.
We like our lesbians extreme here at TGIA. I don't know how you guys like your lesbians. We don't like no half-ass, middle-of-the-road lesbians.
I prefer to see my world through stereotypes.
Yeah. It's so much easier.
It's way easier.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, back to your story of the dumpy legislator.
Okay, so the lesbian legislator, Justin Harris, and his wife. So these two, they are peaches. They were owners of a preschool, a Christian preschool called Growing God's Kingdom Preschool.
right.
That's not as material to the story, but it's an interesting background fact when you learn that they adopted 2 little girls. They already had some boys, some that they had, grown
themselves
organically.
Okay.
And then they adopted these 2 little girls.
Okay, fine. Good. I like when people adopt.
Yeah,
Kids.
it's nice.
Kids need homes. Even if they're crazy Christians. Great. All right.
Well, unfortunately, the girls themselves had some very serious mental problems.
Okay.
Some attachment disorders, which can be common in children who lose their parents or whatever.
Yeah, I imagine.
And the Harrises were not equipped to deal with this, I guess, because they kept them for less than 2 years and then, quote, rehomed them. They gave them away to some friends of the family.
They regifted them.
They regifted them. Seems like a wrong thing to do. They gave them away, and then continued to keep the checks that they were getting from the state, from DHS, Department of Human Services.
Oh my God!
To take care of them. Harris now says that he went to DHS and was saying, "Hey, please help me with this because, these girls are out of control."
Okay.
Apparently they were pretty rough. I mean, every now and but these parents, you got to know that they were idiots. Apparently the boys sometimes would sleep with the parents, with the door kind of like locked so that the girls couldn't get in. They were terrified of these girls.
No.
They were terrified of these girls to the point where they actually talked about demon possession, and they deny it, but people close to them have said that they did exorcisms on these girls.
Oh, no.
And all sorts of stuff.
Was this an actual adoption or were they foster parents?
No, they had adopted the girls.
You can get money for adopting?
I don't know. I don't know how it works.
I thought that's more like sort of the foster system. I thought once you adopt, they're yours and you just fucking take care of them. But anyway, they say that it says that they were adopted.
I mean, maybe it's a deal that you get when you take on problem kids or something.
Maybe. Huh.
But they claim that they were misled about how severe the issues were.
And the
with
state's
the girls.
return policy was too strict.
You know what? If
past the 90 days.
Yeah, if you keep them for more than 90, and if you don't have that receipt,
and they refused to get that extended warranty.
It's really, I mean, with children especially.
Because it's good for a year.
Right.
Or
if they just bought with their American Express card, that extends it for 1 year. You just got to be savvy about these sorts of things. Children are not something you fuck around with. Anyway,
or Costco. They should have gone through Costco.
Yeah, so they just gave them to this other family. Unfortunately, the husband of the other family has now been convicted of molesting one of the girls. And is in jail. I'm sure
that calmed her down.
They put them into a really great home. They found a really good home for these girls. It's all just sort of shocking to me. Like the entire thing is just.
You mean shocking that anybody could think that this is in any way right?
They could have thought that this was okay. These people thought that it was okay to just give away these 2 children.
Yeah.
And when they were confronted on it, they said that that no one has the right to judge them, and that no one has the right.
That's only for God.
That's for God.
God can judge us. You're not allowed to.
Right.
Media. And now
everybody.
National media, and now, the world.
Yeah.
What about his constituents? Do they get to judge him? Do they get to decide whether they want an amoral?
I sure as hell hope that they get to judge him, because that person needs to be not voted for ever again.
Yeah, it's kind of horrifying.
They at one point there are reports that they kept the really problematic girl locked in a room with a camera, so they would monitor her from other rooms, but they wouldn't let her out. To me, that's therapeutically valid. If you've got a problem girl who needs help, what you do. Oh, also one of the reasons that they kept her split up from her sister was because they believed that they were telepathically linked through their demons. So
Well, they don't understand how telepathy works.
Right.
Because
well, demonic telepathy can't go through doors. I think it's a well-known fact that demons can't do telepathy through doors.
Okay. Because I'm pretty sure that Deanna Troi could she could sense.
You got a trick. Oh my god.
I mean, that who cares where that transmission was coming from? She could tell what was going on.
Captain, I don't trust these girls.
Yeah.
I
that one needs to be put in that one, and that one needs to go over there.
I'm pretty sure that if both girls are looking into a mirror at the same time, then they can do it through that. Like it goes, and then they can actually connect that way.
So weird.
It's
scary.
spooky.
Yeah.
Oh, it's spooky.
Oh, I just got the chills.
Their attorney, the Harris's attorney, Jennifer Wells, said in a statement that exorcisms and telepathy are not part of the Harris's religious practice. So they're claiming that none of this is true. The Arkansas, is it the Times? Is that what I said it was?
I don't
Times have cited several sources of people around them who seem to know what's going on.
And saying, well, it may not be part of their practice, but they were doing it.
Right.
It may not be part of the group they belong to.
There's a picture of them.
Oh. Okay, I see what you're talking about.
What do you see, Frank?
I see a lesbian.
It's one of those faces where you clearly can't grow a beard even if you wanted to, and I don't know.
And he's a little pudgy, and so it rounds out the features.
Well, wears ill-fitting suits and stuff.
Oh no! Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway, regardless of whether he's a man or just a lesbian pretending to be a man,
it's all very.
He's clearly a terrible parent,
bad parent,
and not a great legislator. I'm just going to go out and come out and say, no one who is willing to just sort of throw away a couple kids,
and we don't need to know his legislative record to say that. No.
Not
someone you want in a state house making laws for you.
Yeah,
not
exactly.
At all right. Well, while we're in sort of that neck of the woods, I'm going to go over to Oklahoma.
Oh, sure, right next door.
And right next door. And actually, we're sticking with state legislatures as kind of a theme here.
Sure, yeah.
Oklahoma, their state house has passed a bill to abolish marriage licenses in the state of Oklahoma. They do not want their county clerks having to issue same-sex marriage licenses.
Well, I think they've solved the problem.
And this did not just squeak by. This bill passed 67 to 24. It must go to the Senate, of course, the state Senate, for consideration before it can become a law. And then, of course, it has to go over to the governor to be signed. But at a margin of 67 to 24, if the Senate holds a similar vote, which I mean, they'll probably come up with kind of a similar ratio. They're veto proof here, folks.
No, here's the question.
So what they want to do? Okay, wait. Ask your question, and then I'll.
Okay, first of all, I've got lots of questions here, so maybe you should just go on, and I'll see if you answer anything.
So here's what Representative Todd Russ, a Republican.
Oh, good. I was going to ask what Representative Russ had to say about
it. From Cordell, or from Cordell. I bet it's Cordell. The point of my legislation is to take the state out of the process and leave marriage in the hands of the clergy. Marriage was historically a religious covenant first, and a government-recognized contract second. Under my bill, the state is not allowing or disallowing same-sex marriage. It is simply leaving it up to the clergy.
I do smell out a few problems off the bat.
What are your problems? And maybe I'll have the answer.
It occurs to me that marriage is a thing everywhere else in the country.
Yeah.
So, and it has legal implications.
Right.
So what does that mean? So people will all previously issued marriage licenses be invalidated?
No.
Will new people who want to get married have any legal recognition from the state?
So, yes, there will be legal recognition from the state. The way that this would work is that the clergy would be the ones who decide whether or not a couple
Can marry. Okay.
Okay. And basically the idea of like a marriage license wouldn't really be a thing anymore, but whatever sort of there would be like a marriage certificate that would then need to be taken back to the county clerk who would file it.
Okay.
So the state would be keeping the records, but the churches would be basically issuing the license, even though it sounds like the license is going away. Granted, I'm not a legal scholar.
Right.
And I don't know the ins and outs of such things, but that was sort of, after reading this article, was my sense of how they're suggesting that it would work. Now, the issue here, and I don't know if this has sprung to mind yet, what is an atheist in the state of Oklahoma to do?
Right.
If they have to go and find some clergy, to issue a license. Now, of course, you get the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster up and running.
Sure.
But you're adding this step for the
layer.
atheist, this extra layer that shouldn't exist. You should be able to just go down to your government
and say, "Hey, we have made the following commitment to each other legally.
This union is a legal one,
right?
Or it qualifies to be a legal one,
right?
Give us the papers, blah blah blah. Thank you,
right." Yeah, where Andrea and I went to get married in Colorado, we didn't even need an officiant. We just signed the papers.
It's just a vending machine, right?
Yeah, literally. It just spits it out. It takes your photo if you want it. You have to pay the extra $1.
Right.
We opted out.
Done. Easy.
I think, here's what I'm going to do in Oklahoma.
Okay.
I'm going to get my credentials from one of the crazy churches online that'll just credential you up as a minister. And then I'm going to start marrying people against their will.
How do you marry somebody against their will?
I'm going to start a religion where I get to choose who's married and who isn't in my religion.
So you're starting a cult.
I'm going to start up a cult.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I'm just going to start marrying people to each other and then filing that with the state. I'm going to marry all of these legislators to other people. I don't care if they're already married to somebody. I'm going to tell them that they're married to somebody else too.
Smart. Well done. Yeah.
Thank you. I think that'd be fun.
Some Democratic lawmakers have.
Don't tell me they object.
They object.
Oh, why?
They're seeing some problems. One problem is that because the clergy could just go be all about polygamy.
Yeah.
Or doesn't really care about, first cousins marrying. Or issues.
Or what I do, I marry people against their will. I'm telling you, I'm doing it. I'm going to Oklahoma and I'm doing it.
Yeah. So it's basically also something that's been pointed out with this is when the Supreme Court rules on the issue of marriage equality in the United States, people are kind of figuring the tide is going toward gay marriage in this country, that the Supreme Court is just going to come out and be like, it's the law of the land.
Right.
Okay.
You got it.
This is just where everybody's mind is. So the legislators some are pointing out, however, they are the Democrats, they're not the Republicans. They're pointing out that you do realize that if the Supreme Court actually says no, the state laws banning gay marriage and upholding only man-woman marriage, those laws are actually legal and it's fine and we're going back to how things were. If the Supreme Court said that, Oklahoma actually would have opened up the Pandora's box. And if a clergy says, hey, it's A-okay for this gay couple to get married, then gay marriage would be legal in Oklahoma.
Right. Whereas if in all these other hateful states, it would be totally banned.
Shut
still.
back down. Yeah.
Oklahoma, meanwhile, would be like, woo, free for all.
And then,
that's pretty funny.
Yeah. So
I like that.
So, Oklahoma.
There you go. Bunch of weirdos.
Hey. That's true.
Present company included.
Dad, you're so funny.
I'm going round the world to New Zealand.
Okay.
An astute listener sent this in to us. There is a community in New Zealand apparently called the Cooperites. Is that it? Where is it? Where'd it go?
Cooperites. That's what you said earlier.
Yeah, the Cooperites.
Okay.
And they apparently have a very interesting little thing that they have going on. The headline that in the New Zealand Herald is "Family of 14 walks out on Gloria Vale religious commune." When you see the picture, it looks like family of 14 walks out of Little House on the Prairie.
Okay.
Girls in long dresses and bonnets, boys in hats, and everybody matches. They're all blue.
Do they dress kind of like Utah polygamists?
No, I would say it's more like old pioneer-y style.
Really?
Yeah, here I'll show you. I'll show you the picture.
I need to see this. Oh,
yeah, it's like bonnets and shit.
No, that's totally different than I was imagining.
No,
okay.
Literally, if you saw a Little House on the Prairie when you were a kid, like we did, you know what to think of.
Yeah.
So apparently, it's this little. It's one of these intense sort of Amish style cults. I don't know, cult. I hate that word. Everybody uses it.
Why? Because you grew up in one?
Some people believe that I did. I don't think it means what anybody thinks it means. Anyway, it's a religious commune. It's very intense. There is no birth control, which accounts for the 14 people in this family. I assume a parent and 12 children.
So no birth control and a lot of sex.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
So this family has...
Or at least 14 times.
This is nice. The family has actually walked out and into the open arms of a community that has welcomed them and really rallied around them. So they got out of their cult
and they landed in another.
Well, no, they landed in just a community that was nice in South Canterbury. Is that where? Oh, let's see.
Their bonnets are a more pleasant color.
Well.
Instead of that horrid pink color, their bonnets are a gentle yellow.
A lovely butter color. No, they just went to the city, right? So they went to a town, and when word got around that these people had left this church, but had nothing. They had nothing. So so suddenly people are giving to them. And so the community's given them, donated a shit ton of clothing because all they've got is weirdo clothes, and they gave them food and they've given them a lot of stuff. They didn't even need to start a GoFundMe. Everybody just started pouring.
They just did it.
Yeah, everybody just started an outpouring of help.
GoFundMe.
So
does that work? Do people get funded? What do they do? Things like this?
Yeah.
Hey, I just left a strange cult and how to wear funny clothes. Can you help me buy some new clothes?
Sure.
Interesting.
That'll happen. So yeah, there you go. I mean, the family has asked for privacy from the media. They're just trying to do this, but
yeah, we should try to get them on the show.
I'm going to hound them until they come on because fuck your privacy. I want to know. I want to know more. But yeah, I mean, all they're asking for help now is just getting their dad a job.
Oh, does he have skills outside of a commune?
He ran a self-sufficient dairy farm for 20 years.
Oh, sounds like he's useful.
Something tells me in New Zealand, you can find work as a dairy farmer.
Yeah.
Or some kind of farmer.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I mean, that's possible.
Yeah, so there you go. Apparently the Cooperites were founded by Neville Cooper, also known as Hopeful Christian. A bit on the nose, if you ask me, Neville.
A little too hopeful.
As a cult leader, sort of nom de plume, Hopeful Christian seems a bit on the nose.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, he was
maybe
apparently
it was ironic. Maybe he wasn't.
He was apparently convicted of sexual abuse in 1994 and spent 11 months in prison. And then, according to his picture, he spent 12 more months in the balcony of a theater as one of the grumpy old Muppets. Because he looks like Statler and Waldorf.
He's got the cheeks for it.
Anyway, yeah, he's all jowls. He's like 70% jowl. Anyway, there you go.
All right. Well, I want to return home to the United States.
Okay.
With a story about a Lipan Apache tribe member who. Goodness gracious, it was like 12 years ago or something like that. He had his some eagle feathers confiscated by the U.S. government.
Oh dear.
Because he was using them in religious setting.
Sure.
Right? He was at a powwow,
As you do.
and he had 42 eagle feathers in his regalia, right? He had one of these big, wonderful headdress thingies, and all the capes and whatnot. So there were 42 eagle feathers.
Sure.
And apparently, the Lipan Apaches are allowed to possess eagle feathers.
Okay.
Because maybe we should back up a little bit. There's this, it's illegal in this country to possess sort of pieces of endangered animals.
Oh.
Right? Like eagles. You cannot have eagle feathers or talons or anything like that because it would promote the hunting of those animals by people who know that there's a market for those items, right?
So what you're saying is I should give back that rhino head that I've got.
If you have it from before a certain date.
Okay, I'm grandfathered.
Okay.
I'm grandfathered.
And you do not move it across state lines.
Okay.
You're fine.
Okay, I'm good.
Okay. I don't know what that date is, but I do know that that's a thing.
Okay.
And this was 9 years ago.
Right.
That this happened. It was in 2006.
But the
Indians
are allowed to have.
Are allowed to. There's an exemption because they have religious significance for them, and as part of their traditional religious ceremonies.
Right, and all of that well predates even white folks being here.
Oh yeah. This at least acknowledges the fact that they, were here first.
Right. Yeah. We're going to take over your land, and also, hey, enough with the Eagles already.
Yeah.
You're done.
Yeah. You know that your religion that you practiced for however many hundreds, thousands of years? Yeah, you can't do that anymore.
Can't do that anymore.
Well, so...
Hey, have you guys thought about, like, a pigeon feather? You can do pigeons all day long. Pigeons are fine.
Now, what's interesting about the Lipan Apaches is that they are not federally recognized, but they are recognized by the state of Texas.
Huh.
And it is legal for them to possess feathers.
Okay.
Eagle feathers. However, it is not legal for them to use them in religious ceremonies.
What?
What? Because I guess they don't have that federal recognition as a tribe, so he's not viewed because he's a member of that tribe and not a member of some other tribe that is federally recognized. He's not recognized as someone who has the right to have his feathers.
Oh my God.
That he would use while dancing at a powwow.
Wow.
And why the fuck that's the place where the feds decide to go to start enforcing that ceremonial feather you have on,
right,
sir, here at this powwow.
Yeah.
Like that seems like the last place you would be. You think you'd be at, like, I don't know, collectors'
pawn shops or whatever. It all seems a bit odd. It all seems very, very, very strange.
Yeah, it really, really, really does. So anyway, the government has returned the feathers to him.
Oh, that's nice.
After 9 years of fighting in court.
But don't you dance with them. Boy, you better, you get these feathers back. Don't you go dancing with them, though. You do it again, we're gonna have to take him again.
I know, but I do think it's interesting. You know, we do grant the Native Americans a lot of leeway.
But if you're the wrong kind that we don't recognize, then no.
Boy, talk about just getting bureaucratic on all over their their asses.
Yeah,
you know? I mean, and look at this guy.
If he was one of those guys who claims to be 1/32nd Cherokee, then I'd get it.
No, not this guy. But he loves America.
Oh my God! Yeah, he's got the red stripes on one side of his shirt and the blue and white stars on the other side of his shirt, and he's
got an American flag pin on his little shawl thing.
Yeah. A distinct lack of feathers, though. I think the whole thing would do better with feathers.
Well, he has feathers in his hand. He's holding feathers.
Oh, there he is. Yeah,
right.
There are the feathers.
And he's putting them in some sort of little pot thing.
Stew. He's making feather stew.
No, he's not, Dan.
It's a traditional dish. It's delicious. I don't know if you've tried it. Eagle feather stew.
Anyway, the whole thing was paid for by the Beckett Fund for Religious Freedom. Does that ring a bell? The Beckett Fund?
No. Samuel Beckett, the playwright?
Yeah, the same. Yeah, that's the guy. No, they were heavily involved in the Hobby Lobby case.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. I mean, it's like, at very least, we know that the Feather Patrol is working.
Right.
They're on the case.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say. I don't know where to go with any of this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what I find interesting is the fact that we allow a lot of religious exemptions for things in general.
Yeah.
And when it comes to the Native Americans, I'm definitely very leery of saying that religious exemptions are bad in particular for them, because I do think that it's not even a thinking. There was a horrible genocide, atrocity.
Yeah.
I mean, the words fail me to describe what we actually did to the Native Americans.
Yeah.
And
so cutting them a little bit of slack.
Cutting them a little slack seems just fine.
Feels okay.
It feels just fine. And so I'm A-okay with this. Even though it's sort of a thing that I'm like, why do they get to do it?
Yeah.
Well, they get to do it because we killed everybody else.
Indeed.
Not that I was going to say their ancestors, but clearly we didn't kill their ancestors.
Yeah. Well, maybe after they had the kids.
Yeah, that's possible.
I am going to take us around the world to both the Netherlands and China. They're in the same place, right?
Neighbors, in fact. Yeah.
In the Netherlands, there was a museum called Drent's Museum that had this Chinese artifact that is a cute statue of a Buddha, or what you would assume is a statue of a Buddha.
Okay.
Cross-legged position, a person looking down. It is not, in fact, the statue. It's not little. It's pretty large. It's human-sized.
Okay.
They were doing some research on it and studying it a little bit, and they discovered something interesting about this particular one.
Okay.
They did a scan of it and discovered that it has a skeleton
inside of it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because this is no ordinary statue. There's a monk in there.
What?
There is a
So this is a full size. This is a human-sized statue.
Right.
Okay.
What
pose is he in? Like, what is he doing?
Sitting in lotus position.
Okay.
Hands on his legs.
Wow.
Sort of looking down. And there's an actual people in there.
Actually, he's just in deep meditation.
Yeah, exactly. Well, one hates to horrify further, but I'm gonna. You want to say deep meditation. The theory now, the running theory that the scientists have is that this is a monk whose name was something like Liu Quan.
Okay.
Liu Quan.
Okay.
And they think he may have done a process called self-mummification
Oh, no.
in order to become a, quote, living Buddha.
Oh, no.
This is practiced mainly in Japan, or was practiced mainly in Japan. Here's the process as it's described in discovery.com.
Okay.
I'm not comfortable with it. They follow a monk is required to follow a strict 1,000-day diet of nuts and seeds in order to strip the body of fat.
Okay.
A diet of bark and roots would follow for another 1,000 days.
Okay.
At the end of this period, the monk begins drinking a poisonous tea made from the sap of the Japanese varnish tree, normally used to lacquer bowls and plates.
Okay.
The tea caused profuse vomiting as well as rapid loss of body fluids, possibly making the body too poisonous to be eaten by bacteria and insects.
Oh, my God.
A living skeleton, the monk was then placed in a stone tomb barely larger than his body, which was equipped with an air tube and a bell. Never moving from the lotus position, the monk would ring the bell each day to let those outside know that he was still alive. When the bell stopped ringing, the monk would be presumed dead, and the air tube would be removed and the tomb sealed.
Oh, my God.
Then after another 1,000 days, the tomb would be opened to check whether the monk had been successfully mummified.
Ta-da!
And apparently, of the hundreds of monks that tried this process, only a few dozen actually became self-mummified. So it only worked a few times, but then they were revered as a Buddha.
Well, because, I mean, it's hard to become a Buddha.
It's not easy. They can't make it an easy process.
No.
If it's just like getting your black belt in karate or something, then anybody could do it.
This is 4,000 days total?
Something like that.
But 3,000 before you're dead.
Right. Yeah. And 2,000.
2,000?
Before you're dead.
Well, I thought it was... Okay.
1,000 nuts and seeds, 1,000 bark and roots, and then you drink your poison.
But
and
the poison, you're still alive for another 1,000, right?
No, the poison you're put into your you drink the poison,
and then you
barf and you barf and you barf, and then you go into
you go into your thing,
into your box or whatever.
Okay. So 2,000 days.
Mm-hmm. This is
an almost 7-year process. Like how? Wait, what would this be?
Oh, I don't even want to think about it.
2,000
divided by 365.
I know, but I'm just trying to get my calculator.
Okay.
To work.
It's all very tricky.
There we go. Clear that. 2,000 divided by
5.47 years. 5.5.5.5 years.
5.5 years.
It takes to just to get through the berry and bark stages, or the nuts and bark different stages. This all seems very bad.
Really gross.
This statue is it's almost 1,000 years old.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
So obviously you would be able to tell if your statue was a mummy looking at it. So they've covered it up with something.
No, it's a statue. So they've literally overlaid it.
That's what I'm saying. They covered
with
the
metal
mummy.
with like a metal statue. So you don't see a person.
Oh, it's not like it's like I was thinking like a clay something.
Oh no. I'm sorry. I should have described it. It's a bronze statue sort of thing.
No way.
So there's no reason you would assume that there's actually a person inside of that.
No.
You look at it,
the rattling.
except for the muffled screams.
The bell. He's still ringing his little bell. I woke up from my deep meditation.
I'm fine. Please don't put me in the statue. I find it all horrifying.
Horrible. Absolutely horrible.
I tend to think
so. Okay, so this
we don't know for sure
Netherlands?
that this was. Yeah, it's in the Netherlands now. It's from China.
So, what's the Netherlands doing with the damn thing?
I don't know. They're studying it a lot more. They found that inside of the casing, there's the little fabric that he's sitting on. He's on a rolled up cloth, and there are Chinese characters written in black ink mentioning the name of the guy. That's how they know who this guy is.
Oh. But nobody's revering him as a Buddha. If he's in the Netherlands,
well,
are people revering him?
Well, I mean, they say that the name is of a venerable monk. So I guess they know. I guess the Chinese still know of him.
Oh, okay.
Right. You know, the Chinese are all like Taoists now. They're not even they're not even Buddhists anymore. They don't give a fuck.
Crazy. All right. Well, I have one more story I'd like to get to.
Please do.
This is. Do you know? Have you ever listened to NPR? Are you familiar with NPR?
Oh, I know the NPR.
NPR, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, one of their greats.
We should sound more like NPR.
No.
Oh, okay.
One of their greats, Diane Rehm.
Oh yeah, love her. Hard to listen to, but I love her.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Unfortunately, she is hard to listen to, but she is she kind of got in a little bit of trouble, I guess you could say.
Oh no, Diane.
Yeah. Because she has taken up the cause of right to die.
Oh yeah, sure.
Die with dignity.
Yeah.
That whole argument of she's an advocate for doctor-assisted suicide.
Right.
I did not realize that her husband passed away last year.
Yeah.
And he was suffering from Parkinson's, and so when his doctor wouldn't help end his suffering, he stopped eating and drinking.
Right. Oh, I do remember something about this.
So it even further solidified her opinion on the topic. She was already for it, but now she's become a vocal. She's become vocal and outspoken on the issue of right to die. Well, she has started attending a series of fundraising dinners for some right to die groups. The main one being one called Compassion and Choices.
Oh.
And but NPR is concerned because as a journalist and as a prominent NPR figure, she is helping them raise money.
Yeah.
Which is a big no-no if you're in the journalism field. You're not supposed to go out and... I mean, you're supposed to be neutral, right? And NPR...
Well, you can have opinions.
Well,
you just don't bring them into your journalism.
And she does have opinions, and they actually talked about that as a talk show host. One of the ways that she achieves transparency with her audience, and it aids her in her interviewing, and in her particular interviewing style, is that she does say what her opinions are on topics, and she challenges people with her own position.
Yeah, she doesn't do it like fully like the way like Fox News would do it, which is like, I'm right and you're wrong. So let me show you how wrong you are.
Right.
So state your position and I'll tell you why you're wrong.
Right. However, it is a violation of ethical standards for a news media outlet that pretends to be politically neutral. And yeah. So she's backing off on that. However, they are fine. They've said we're absolutely fine with her being vocal on this issue. She just cannot be raising money.
Okay. That's an interesting place to draw the line.
I completely get it. Because if she were, let's say she were doing a show on the topic,
right?
As a fundraiser, she's
a little compromised.
There's some, a little conflict of interest maybe. And it's okay for her to have her views. It's not okay for her to be a spokesperson, basically, for an organization that has such political views.
I mean, we talked about this idea the other week when we talked about how Canada has made it legal.
Right.
I just don't understand. I mean, I get it's just religion, It's such a non-controversial topic.
It really should be a non-controversial topic.
There shouldn't be any controversy whatsoever.
It's the person. I mean,
no one's trying to legalize killing anybody else.
Right. This is not euthanasia.
No.
This is not putting someone down. This is the person saying that I'm sick.
I'm in pain.
I'm
done.
My life, the good, any good from my life is done.
Yeah.
At this point, I don't want to go through whatever this thing is that I'm going to go through.
Yeah.
And for her husband to have to starve himself to death.
Can you imagine the discipline?
Jesus Christ.
Like that's a hell of a way to go. Somebody couldn't buy that man a gun?
Well, it's a little cleaner this way.
Yeah, well.
And there's something less suicide-y about it. You know what I mean? You're making a statement when you starve yourself to death.
You sure are.
You're right though. I mean, you add in the layer of the discipline that's required, and there's almost something respectable about it.
There's something very, I see.
There's something admirable about it. Whereas if he had just killed himself in one of the more conventional ways,
then people could dismiss him as just
what
a
cop out
or whatever. Yeah.
No, but instead he was in his right mind. He made a decision, and he had the discipline to follow through with it. Yeah,
that's some potent stuff right there.
Yep. So that's Diane Rehm for you. She's a classy lady. I'm looking at this picture of her.
Oh, she looks amazing.
Yeah.
I want to go on
white hair. I want white hair like
with
that.
her.
I actually want the also the old lady coif.
You do?
I don't want just the white hair. I just want old lady white hair.
We're going to start a GoFundMe to help Franklin become one of the Golden Girls. Which Golden Girl do you want to be, Frank?
Oh, as far as hair, it'd be Sophia.
Okay.
Right? She just had that like helmet of white hair, right?
Make Frank Sophia. Go to GoFundMe.com/make Frank Sophia.
But B. just with my build, anything, whatever looked good on B. Arthur would probably look better on me.
She was a handsome woman, wasn't she? Oh my God! I'm going Betty White all the way.
Well, Betty White's a good choice.
I'm going.
Betty White's always a good choice.
Yeah, you can't go wrong.
What about Rue McCallaghan?
No, fuck Rue McCallaghan. Fuck her. And
that was a pretty good pull. That's the one name out of all of those that you're probably not gonna just because Estelle Getty, she had her own thing going. I went for the character's name instead of
right. I will say this about Rue McClanahan. For my entire childhood, I thought her name was Ruma.
Really?
Ruma Clanahan.
Clanahan, okay.
I mean, I was a kid. I don't know. Anyway, if you have any advice for how to turn Frank into an old lady, you can help us find out by writing to us at podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or you can always leave us a voicemail. The telephone number is 424-666-8442.
Go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist.
Or you can search for the TGIA Members Only Lounge.
We encourage you to do so.
And it's a closed group.
Nobody will know that you're an atheist just by your presence in this group.
Exactly, but it does mean that you have to request to join the group.
Right, and I have to look at all of your pictures.
Absolutely.
Or whatever I look at.
Okay.
So yes, we're gonna take our break now and listen to this guy. It's just his personal vlog, and I was like, there's no reason to play some dingbat's personal vlog, except for the fact that this guy is the guy that was going around trying to get hateful cakes made in bakeries.
Oh, it's
Hate Cake Man.
Hate Cake Nate?
Hate Cake Nate.
Is his name Nate?
It's Theodore.
Oh, damn.
That's the same as Nate, though. Theodore Shubat has some very important things that you need to know about homosexuals.
I love it when people tell me, I don't see gay people beheading others. Why are you fighting against gay people? I don't see gays decapitating people. Yeah, they are gay people beheading others. It's something called ISIS. ISIS consists of many homosexuals. Some of their top leaders are homosexual. And there is also something called a serial killer. And if you look at the major serial killers in American history, homosexual. Look up Jeffrey Dahmer if you want an example of that. And that leads me to a very controversial news topic that happened today. And that is Charlotte, North Carolina, right now they're in the process of voting whether or not they're going to allow genderless bathrooms. Bathrooms that are limitless in regards to gender. There is no male bathroom, female bathroom. There is bathroom for whoever wants to go in there. So if you're a man and you're like one of those freaks who say, I'm a woman in a man's body, and all of a sudden you are to be objectively viewed as a woman, then according to this new bill that these fags want to pass, you will be allowed to go into the woman's bathroom. The homosexuals want to go into a woman's bathroom so they can molest little boys. That's what this is about. They want to molest children. They want to do some peeping Tom stuff on women in the bathroom. They want to be perverts, in other words. Don't tell me that these lunatics want to go to a woman's bathroom because they think they're actually women.
Well, I don't even know where to start.
I think this poor boy is confused.
I don't think he knows anything about any of the topics that he's just brought up. Like nothing.
Well,
nothing.
I do like the notion that gay men want to go into women's bathrooms to peep on, first of all, to prey on little boys.
In the women's restroom.
Because of all the little boys in the women's restroom. And
I would
then,
assume if they're in the women's restroom, that they're there because their mother is there with them.
Yeah, they have an adult supervising them if there's a little boy in the women's restroom.
So if there is I mean, I take offense at the whole, or take exception because, I mean, I can't even be offended by this guy. He's so dumb. But I take exception with the idea that it's gay men who are doing the molesting. But if there was a molester on the loose, this child has a parent there.
Right. That man should be going into the men's restroom to be looking for the little boys.
For the little boys.
For the unaccompanied
For the
little boys.
This is a very, very dumb molester that he's talking about.
Or there's the other thing of the gay man going to peep on the women.
That doesn't make any sense.
Oh, shut up, Frank. You know you like to peep on the girls.
Well,
you're a girl peeper.
It does make for the best peeping.
Oh.
No.
I don't even know.
Awful.
There's so much goodness in that. Like ISIS being full of gay people.
Full of gay people, which... But they're not killing and they're not beheading in the name of gayness.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's not what they're up to.
You don't know.
If that's what they were up to, then he would... Okay, well, you kind of have a point there, dude, I guess. But, like, that's not what they're doing. And to pull out Jeffrey Dahmer as his lone example... Of a gay serial killer.
One example of I mean, it just proves, one example proves that all serial killers are gay. I can't even talk anymore.
Why are we even talking about this guy? Because he's so stupid.
He's turned my brain into mush.
I'm kind of upset that we're giving him even a little bit of a platform on our show.
Oh, we're not. We're just laughing at him. It's
I don't even want people to know who this idiot is.
Well, they don't.
He's the gay cake Nate date.
Date rape Nate cake
hate
Theodore. Anyway, we had some folks write into us, which is a nice thing that they do sometimes when they want us to know something.
Thank you.
So I will read some of that. Kelsey wrote in and said, "Hi, Frank and Dan. In the latest podcast episode, the one before the best of that Frank just did.
Okay.
You guys talked about what to do when approached by Mormon or other missionaries. You know how religious folks always hope that that even if a missionary can't convert whoever they attract or interact with, that their interactions with non-members will leave some sort of positive long-term impact? Well, I feel the same way about missionary interactions with atheists. They want to convert us, but all I'm hoping for is that something I say or something about me will stick in their brain and give them something to think about, even if it means that they never leave their religion.
Ding, 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 ding. Well done.
She says, my baby sister is on an LDS mission right now in Puerto Rico, and I think a lot about the people that she interacts with. I know that she's there to convert. Like you guys said, missionaries have mouths, not ears. But I do sincerely hope that if and when she stumbles across a non-believer, that person will be kind to her and maybe, just maybe, get her to think about life, her religion / whatever in a new way.
Yes, 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 and yes.
Yeah.
Kelsey, you have your head screwed on right. You're absolutely right. And I will say that I can think back to specific instances on my mission of people saying certain things to me and challenging my worldview that were definitely a part of my thought process in and around
seeds planted that grew within you.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yep. For sure. I think so. You're right. It does work both ways.
I think it's
it's an opportunity.
I think it's a very interesting thing. I don't think that it's the best idea necessarily to challenge and Bible bash them and debate them.
No, and those were not the moments that really led to that. It was people who were who I remember one specifically of somebody who was challenging sort of the uselessness of trying to convert people, right? That's what he was pointing out. He was like, you would do far more good in the world if you actually, well, he pointed to this like homeless guy and was like, if you went over and bought him a pack of cigarettes, that's more good than you're doing trying to convert somebody to your religion. We have plenty of religion here. I'm like, oh, okay.
You're like, I should give homeless people lung cancer? That's better?
He's saying, but you know what I mean.
But he's saying,
he's saying
if
that's better.
Offered a little bit of
what you're
joy.
Doing. And, I mean, it's Italy in the 90s, and they probably still are all smokers. You know what I mean? The looking down on it doesn't exactly resonate the same way to an American ear.
Right.
As somebody,
But
understanding the culture and what he was saying. Yeah.
There you go. I think that there's a place for all kinds of interaction, but it is interesting if you can
plant seeds, man.
If you can be nice and be clearly a good person,
right.
and then also believe what you believe, you're gonna bake their noodle.
Yeah, and remember, I mean, it's clear that they are young and inexperienced, and it's the perfect time. They're out thinking about these things. They're spending 2 years of their life when they're really only supposed to be thinking about religious matters.
Yeah,
you give them something to think about along those lines because they might spend the time on it.
Yeah,
their worldview is not completely solidified yet.
Right.
Not necessarily. I mean, for some of them it is, but you don't know which ones. That's for sure.
Indeed, you don't. Thanks for writing in, Kelsey. Let's see. Sam wrote in. He said, "Hi, Frank and Dan. This is Sam from Kenya again."
Oh,
he's written in a couple times, I think. Earlier this year, I wrote to you guys about some Islam-inspired violence in my country. The show keeps getting better, and so do some of our situations. Oh, good. Well, I hope your situations are getting better.
Okay.
Before I get to the reason for writing, I'd quickly like to update you a bit on some advice you gave me in passing last time I wrote. I did get myself a way to obtain passage to leave Kenya and, drumroll, emigrate to the U.S.
Fantastic.
If I were religious, I would thank God, but now I know better. My gratitude is toward the two of you for giving me a kick on the backside, which led me to some inquiry, and thanks to a great lawyer and my mom, I can get emancipated. Well, that's amazing.
Wow.
There you go. Okay. Well, welcome to our country, I guess.
Yeah. What advice did we give, Dan, that led to that?
I can't imagine what we would have said that would have led to that. But hopefully that's a good thing that we inspired you to do.
Yeah, I mean,
unknowingly.
Taking action to do something that you may have been thinking about that's, going to bring positive change in your life potentially.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. So congratulations, Sam.
Yeah, absolutely. Congratulations on that. Welcome to our fucked up country instead of your fucked up country. He says, a suggestion I have for the show, and please feel free not to implement this. Well, I will. It's my show, so I will feel free to implement whatever the fuck I want to.
Oh.
But I will listen to your suggestion, Sam. He says, I was thinking that you could use the platform and its increasing wide range to call on the people to participate in how they can to drive legislation, since that is the only tool that a proper democracy has. An encouraging call to participate in voting, online petitions, and any other way that someone can influence direct change. He says, I find that good people can do much good with a little sensible encouragement.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure that we have the power to inspire anybody to do it, but if we could get you out of Kenya, which apparently is something good and something that you wanted so good,
right?
Then maybe we can help somebody. So, yes, everyone, please pick some things that are important to you and get out there and do a thing about it. Even if it is signing an online petition or start an online petition. See what
Although
you can
be careful with the online petitions.
Yeah, they tend to not be.
All they do is email you for years.
Yeah.
After you sign one of them.
Yeah. Don't.
I had to shut down a whole email account because of an online petition.
Be gentle with your online petitions, everyone. But do get involved. That's
and sign the ones you believe in.
That's the official TGIA policy.
Yeah.
Is you get involved. And we won't tell you necessarily with what to get involved. But do it. We have some new donors to thank.
'Tis true.
I've got a few and you've got a few. Do you want I'll go first.
Okay.
Willow is now a new subscriber on PayPal. So thank you very much, Willow. We got a one-time donation from, there's a person name attached to this somewhere, I think. But it's all I've got is a non-person name. So I'm not going to say that non-person name, but it's just a one-time donation. It says, "Hi there, Frank and Dan. Only a small one-time donation, but I will hopefully be able to give more eventually. I love what you do. You are my most listened to podcast, and I enjoy every second." So thank you.
Oh, thank you
very much for that. And also, Matt is now a one-time subscriber. Or a subscriber, a monthly subscriber.
Fantastic.
What have you got?
Well, I had
from our Joyride campaign.
I had 2 people sign up. We have Hannah and we have Cody.
Oh, okay.
So that means that the women are now up to 16 and the men are 21.
Okay.
Assuming that Cody's a guy.
Only having two people.
Yeah, we're at $298 a month, so we're almost at our 300. Well, almost we're 350 is our first goal.
Yeah.
So we're getting there, and every little bit helps, and so whatever you're able to, willing to pledge every month is.
This week,
remarkable.
But so if you want to be part of this, again, the girls are trying to beat the boys out here. Get on that. Yeah. Go to thankgodimatheist.com. Click on the Joyride button on the right-hand side of the screen.
Yeah.
And become a supporter. We're almost to that first goal.
Yeah. So that puts the women at 16 and the men at 21. Did I say that already?
You did say that already.
Oh, okay.
But that's good to reiterate. Ladies.
I knew I said that there was 1 and 1, but I couldn't remember if I said the.
Ladies, you're not pulling your weight. You know what it is? It's we've pissed off all the lesbians, so they're not going to donate.
Oh, so of course we would have, and probably made the gay men happy. Delighted in the fun that's being poked, but lesbians, rise above it, because we love you.
Oh my God. Oh, We are not.
I don't think we're good at this.
We're
Dan.
not good people. We're not good at raising money. We're failing on all counts. But
the reason why we are running a campaign is because this is something that we would like to be able to focus more time on.
This
podcast on the podcast.
Yeah.
And right now, like I've got my job, you've got the things that you do.
Yeah.
And those take up a lot of time. And if this was an additional source of income,
of actual income,
yeah, it would be obviously a lot easier. Now, that threshold, if you look at the Joyride campaign, we say we're not going to be taking any more money for ourselves until we hit the next level, I think.
Right.
And so this money that we're raising right now is really going toward improving our recording equipment.
Right.
We have these microphones that we got pretty much at the beginning of the thing. Initially, we were using borrowed microphones.
Right.
And then we bought some microphones with the money that we raised early on.
The mic stands that we're using are falling apart.
We threw one away.
Yeah, one's already dead.
And so what we're looking to do is just get a little bit, not really even a professional setup. We're not, aspiring for a professional studio.
We're not going for Clear Channel here.
Yeah.
We're just going for good.
We're just going to just the next level up with microphones and stands and hopefully some chairs that aren't, awful. And that break during the show.
Mildly painful to sit on.
Yeah, I mean, my lower back doesn't feel too hot right now.
No, mine neither.
So,
okay.
So that's what we're working on right now, and that's why we're doing it. You can go to thankgodimatheist.com and click on the Joyride banner, and that'll take you to the campaign page. And then you can see the different rewards that we're offering, the levels, and so forth and so on.
And there's no pressure to do it, but if you don't, then you're a jerk.
Also a great fundraising tactic.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The guilt thing. That's for our Mormon and Jewish listeners or something. I don't know. And maybe Catholic.
And you're very good at the guilt thing.
I'm so good at it. Yeah.
Everybody. You really should go work for NPR during
everybody's going to respond really well to that.
But those guys are the masters of it.
They
make you feel like dirt.
They just sure do.
For not helping out. But anyway.
Yeah. I'll tell you one thing, though. Unlike NPR, and unlike your local NPR station, if you donate to us, we will not pester you for the rest of your goddamn life. Every single time you turn around, you're getting a fucking letter, you're getting a little card, you're getting a thing in the email, it's just, leave me the fuck alone. I gave you money.
Yeah. You gave them money so they could afford to pester you.
Yeah, apparently. All my donations now have to be I'm anonymously donating.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because fuck you. Stop. Leave me alone.
Huh. You don't want your name read out over the air?
No. But I mean I would be fine with that. I just don't want the mail. It's like suddenly the mafia's after me or something.
It's just terrible. Yeah. It's just like having the mafia after you.
Kind of.
NPR.
Sort of.
Ugh. Anyway, should we move along?
Yeah, let's move along. The Mormons are a dominant religion in our culture here in the Utah. Here in the great state of Utah.
That's true.
The pretty great state.
Pretty, great state.
Yeah, that comma is pretty important. That was our state motto for a hot second. pretty weak. Pretty weak sauce there, Utah. Anyway, Mormons are an interesting bunch of people, and you and I, having grown up LDS, we knew the stories.
Oh yeah,
of the history
inside out. Actually.
Meaning, for instance, the origin story, the most important story of Mormonism, is that of one young Joseph Smith, who there's all these stories about how he prayed in his room, and a dude appeared to him. He went and prayed. Eventually, he went and prayed in a sacred grove.
That was the first vision.
And he knelt down and was visited by personages.
Yes.
God and Jesus, or somebody. Is that who it was?
God the Father, yes, and his son, Jesus Christ.
Right. So that's a pretty important origin story. That's pretty damn important. Well, the problem is that there are, as we may have talked about on this show before long ago, there's more than one version of that story
From Joseph's mouth.
from his damn self.
Yes.
So either his memory was a little on the squirrely side.
So, yeah, in one of the versions, there was only one figure.
Right. And in one version, he was 16, and in one version, he was 14.
Yeah. Maybe it happened twice.
maybe.
Maybe he had the first vision twice.
Yes, the first vision 2.0.
Redux.
Anyway, for the longest time, we never heard word one about any of that shit. There were no controversies involving the stories that we heard as children growing up in the church. The church members didn't know anything more than just the official story.
Right. But now they're coming out with all these director's cuts.
Right. Yes, that's exactly what it is.
As is usually the case, the director's cut just isn't as good.
It's not as good, but it does show you more. You see a lot more, and you get, as is the case with many director's cuts, you get confused.
Yeah, that's true.
That happens a lot.
Oh.
The Mormon Church now has, and we've reported on this, so you our longtime listeners have heard many of these things. They've got these essays that they've posted on LDS.org.
Yes.
That are essays about things like the first vision and the varying accounts of the first vision.
Right.
Or things like how the Mormons
Blacks in the priesthood
used to view black people and how they view them now, and what their view is on different races and that sort of thing.
Right.
Or polygamy, or there's a whole shit ton of different things that they've now acknowledged in their history.
Right.
That were things that only, back in the 70s and 80s and before, nobody knew this stuff.
Right.
There was like 7 historians going, wait, what? And that was all the only people who knew it.
Right.
And those 7 historians, 6 of them got excommunicated from the church.
Yeah.
So the question, when these essays started coming out, part of the impetus is clearly because there's an internet now, and the Mormons are able to go onto that internet and find out all of this stuff.
Yeah.
Which until now was dismissed as anti-Mormon propaganda.
Right.
Of course that's not true. Right. Of course it's not true that there are all of these differing accounts of the first vision from Joseph Smith himself, because that's something that was made up by people who hate us.
Right.
But no.
Yeah. That doesn't really work anymore as an explanation.
Right.
When
and
you can actually
look at source material and all of that sort of thing.
Yep.
Here's the thing. So it seems like the church is now acknowledging all of this stuff.
Yeah, but what's interesting is, they put these essays out and they put them on that website, LDS.org. And each time that they did, people like Peggy Fletcher Stack at the Salt Lake Tribune would write an article that had happened, and they're sort of in a certain level or a certain strata of the blogosphere. All of us, people would be talking about them. But what wasn't happening is nobody was reading these over the pulpit. Bishops were not they weren't sent these essays.
No,
they weren't told to they weren't accompanied. They weren't sent, but they also you could have sent them out and had educational materials and lesson suggestions and blah 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 that would have accompanied them.
Which the Mormon Church does that. The Mormon Church, if they want one person to learn it, they want everybody to learn it, and they send out every church in the world gets the same lesson.
Exactly. And so that did not happen. There has been no revision of any of the church educational materials that start to inch their way toward the dealing with these difficult parts of their history.
Right. As a matter of fact, if you talk to a rank and file Mormon, just your average Joe, even here in Utah, and maybe especially here in Utah, and you ask them about these things, it's a good bet they're not going to know that these essays even exist.
Right. So
The church-owned newspaper, unlike the Salt Lake Tribune, did not cover it, or covered it gently.
Really? Really?
I think so.
That's amazing. Well, this is telling. This is in an article on the Salt Lake Tribune by Peggy Fletcher Stack, but
it was picked up by a whole bunch of other...
it went to all sorts of places.
Washington Post is where I've got it.
She says that there was and this is anecdotal, but it's telling. A recent panel discussion at Brigham Young University, which is an LDS owned.
Yeah.
And about a third of the audience, there were of about 80 students, had neither read nor heard of the race essay in particular. And these are kids who they're sort of in the thick of it. Like BYU, if you're going to know about it, you should know about it. You should know about it at BYU. It should be being talked about heavily at BYU.
They're all required to take religion classes.
Exactly, right. And there was another statistic about it was something talking about how the members were sort of that there was a large portion of the members who said that these were clearly just documents released by the PR office of the church, and therefore not terribly important for the day to day.
None of these are signed by heads of the church.
Exactly, which is also kind of telling about like their place in sort of the what would you call it, the canon of Mormon.
Here's the
writings.
thing. You and I have said this before, but what you may not understand about Mormon culture is that what's happened here is that the Mormon church has released these things to satiate and satisfy outsiders.
Yeah.
But they don't necessarily want to rock the boat with the people who are in the in-group, with their own people. And their own people, people our age and a little bit younger and anyone older than us were raised on very, very specific stories.
Right.
And truths that are no longer true. And
you mean the pioneer children didn't just sing while they walked and walked and walked?
That's a kid's song that the Mormons sing. There's so many issues that these essays bring up. And I think the Mormon so this is just an interesting crossroads for Mormonism, where they're trying to acknowledge the rest of the world and yet trying to keep their own people in their bubbles. I don't know. I think this is probably a common problem among the religious. What bubbles do you burst and what bubbles do you leave bubbling?
Well, I mean, and what you're always going to have is a discussion amongst certain parts of the group that they really don't care about the history in a certain way, because this is a question of faith.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it always gets turned into a question of faith.
Yes.
You either have faith in Joseph Smith or you have faith that Joseph Smith, did what the official account of the church says he did.
Right.
Or you don't have faith that he did.
Right.
Right. And the particulars of it, who really cares? As long as the church is here and we all go to church every Sunday and we
it
all
says
have
nice things,
our little happy feelings, and the general message of the church is positive.
Yeah.
And nice.
Then it's fine.
Yeah, it's good.
Which is hard to argue around. It's hard to get your brain.
Well, if all somebody wants is to sit there and have blind faith
and nice
in
feelings,
something and nice feelings, you're never going to get through to them.
No,
that's not the person you're going to get.
It's so weird.
It's if people like to live their life based in reality, then then you might have a little bit of a some common ground somewhere where you can start having a conversation. But if all they want is just to have blind faith, nope, no way. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. I just feel like this whole thing. It's like watching. Yeah, it's watching somebody who has told a lie for a long time squirm as they try and figure out, like, because the rest of the world's been like, hey, wait a minute. And they're just like, oh wait, I mean,
I don't, excuse me, I don't have any recollection of that.
That should be the official.
I'm sorry, I do not recall.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Take the who was that? Wasn't
that Bill Clinton's stance? I do not recall.
Yeah. It was everybody's stance.
It's yeah.
Just stop recalling. Stop remembering things.
Bill Clinton wasn't that. He flat out denied. He said, I did not have sex with that woman.
Oh, maybe it was George H.W.
Maybe.
That does not recall. Or was it Reagan?
There's a lot. Oh, it was the Reagan administration.
That's right.
It was the Iran-Contra.
Right.
That's like Oliver North.
Right.
That's who we're talking about.
Yeah.
I do not recall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do not recall a lot of things, apparently.
Apparently we don't even recall who said I don't recall.
Right.
Oh, Iran-Contra.
Oh, what a great scandal that was.
Takes me back.
It does indeed. So here we are. We've got religion doing what religion does best, which is cherry picking the good and trying to leave out the bad.
Yeah.
I don't know that much will come of this. People are leaving the church quite quickly. There's some definite holes where people are pouring out.
I would love to see real numbers on that.
Well, you can't.
I know, that sucks.
There's no such thing.
I want like some self-reporting something at least.
Well, there may
people
be
go and they just,
there may be another Eris report that comes out soon or something like that.
Momo no mo.
Yeah, or something. So yeah, if you guys have anything you'd like to chime in about, if you know of, I'd like to hear about other religions and the sort of the difference between what the religion itself says and what the culture does, because that's what this is about, right? This is about what the rank and file living in their bubble versus what the church itself says when they think they might get someone elected to the presidency of the United States.
Right. Well, yeah.
As well as other things.
Yeah.
If you'd like to chime in, you can write to us at podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or you can call our phone number and leave a voicemail. It's that's 424-666-8442.
Right. Go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist.
Or you can search on Facebook for TGIA Members Only Lounge.
Right.
And that's fun. It's a closed group.
It's very loungy. The drinks are reasonably priced. And
I went in there the other day, and apparently I caused quite the little hullabaloo. I didn't realize anything was going to happen because I just happened to like comment on something, and then there was this whole thread and somebody had like photoshopped my head onto like somebody wearing a members only jacket, and I tried to like take a selfie of me in my own members only jacket, just to be like, well, I'll one up you, but
you failed?
Oh, I didn't like how I looked.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't get the photo to come out right. I don't like selfies.
How did I miss this?
Already, like, it always puts my arm, and there's something, my chin ends up looking weird.
Oh, wow.
And so I was going to set up a whole, like, self-portrait, like, setup with, like, my DSLR and, like, stage the whole thing. And then I was like, no, this is a lot of work.
Now you have to do it. Now you've said it on the air. Now you have to do it. Everybody go to facebook.com, look up the Members Only Lounge. We'll let you in, and then find Frank's picture that I'm now telling you will be there, so he has to do it.
No, I don't. I don't have to do anything, Dan.
He's totally doing it.
I don't have to do a good goddamn thing, damn. All right, there's also our Facebook, or our website, thankgodimatheist.com. You can go there. You'll find the Joyride campaign.
Oh yeah, go to that. Donate to us. The girls are catching up to the boys.
But not very quickly. And, of course, thanks to Mackenzie for all of her help on Facebook.
Oh, and thanks to the Red Rock Hot Club for the lovely music that you guys hear every time we play.
And thank you, dear listener, for listening.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.